What are Endress+Hauser's origins with the Profibus organisation, Frank?
Well, Endress+Hauser got involved with Profibus actually from the beginning. As you might know, Profibus has been a German standard that then became a European standard that all started back in the early 90s. The Profibus user organization was founded there. And from the very beginning, Endress+Hauser was part of that. And that took Profibus for the first 5 years on a pretty national, local, European platform. And then in the mid-90s, Profibus decided we want to go international because field buses became international subject, not just a national subject, just because the industry was international and the customers who utilized Profibus also went international. So it was clear that the Profibus user organization as a support organization had to become international as well. By that time, there were already local Profibus user organizations. So the logical consequence was then to bring up a roof organization above the local Profibus organization, which in the end led to the inauguration of Profibus International, PI, in 1995. And from then, I would say Profibus International is a story of success. Meanwhile, we have about 14 to 1500 members on a global scale. 26 regional organizations, 26 regional Profibus organizations, such as one in Australia. We account meanwhile for more than 40 competence centers. So competence centers are people, organizations which support both users but also suppliers in the technology, in the application of Profibus. And alongside with that, we find 16 training centers. This is where people can get hands-on training from installers up to system integration. Meanwhile, Profibus is not just looking for itself. There is lots of cooperation going on. Just want to mention one cooperation. This is with the Heart Communication Foundation. So for instance, in the area of wireless HART, that means sensor networks for the process industry, this is where Profibus very closely links up with the Heart Communication Foundation, who is a strong stakeholder in field instrumentation.
What are the technologies and contributions of Profibus to the process industry?
That's a good question, because the roots of Profibus come from the discrete industry, come from the manufacturing industry, from the car industry. So the beginning of Profibus was discrete. Then eventually the industry found out that, of course, for the process industry there are specific requirements where the initial form of Profibus was not sufficient. So that was then also in the mid-90s where the initiative was started, also taking the woes of the field bus wars into account. And this is when Profibus PA, stands for Process Automation, was inaugurated. So Profibus PA is the profile, the version of Profibus specifically dedicated to the requirements of the process industry. Just to give you a few examples, the first step was the bus-powered devices. That means communication and power supply to instruments, primarily sensors, via the bus. In a second step, this was upgraded according to the FISCO model, that field bus intrinsically safe concept model, so that this bus power supply also could be applied in hazardous area by means of intrinsic safety. A very important requirement and more or less also a foundation layer for the success of Profibus in the process industry. Then there was international standardization, additional function block specification came on top of that, profile definition to make it even more easier for users to mix and match makes from different suppliers. For instance, recently we introduced the so-called Profibus 3.02 profile version, which allows to swap devices from different generation without the necessity to take down the system. You may know that in the discrete industry it's to a lesser extent a problem to stop a machine and exchange a sensor. In the process industry, where you have lots of a lot of continuous processes, they are taking down a process just to exchange a device is very difficult. So therefore this time has to be reduced, has to be kept at a minimum, and this profile specification helps to do that. So Profibus addresses both the needs of the CapEx reduction, so spending less for the project, but of course also takes care of the MRO phase because it provides, for instance, predictive diagnosis. So people can run their plant more efficiently because they have an indication when equipment, when sensors might go down. So this predictive maintenance is an aspect which is covered especially in the MRO phase. So this was the actual equipment world, but in addition it is also the question of the integration into the environment. In the beginning it was more or less about just supplying the sensor information, the measured value, and over the time there were other description methodologies so that you could draw more information, more value out of the field, out of the sensors. So things like device descriptions, integration into control system by means of FDT, field device technology. All these areas helped to develop, to enhance the portfolio of functionality in the Profibus environment. And then of course there were new applications coming out, for instance Profinet, which then takes the Ethernet technology as an abundance of possibilities into the Profibus basket. So this is another version of Profibus, the Profinet. And with that there are other activities, ProfiSafe to take care of safety applications, ProfiDrive, specific profile for the manufacturing industry. So there you see it's ongoing. Profibus technology started from initially being just the ways and means to transport information from the sensor level to the system level, and now it evolved and became application profiles for various industries.
What does Profibus mean to Endress+Hauser as a supplier? Profibus
is a digital communication technology and is very important for us as a device manufacturer, because there was lots of value, lots of user benefits locked in the devices by means of 4 to 20 milliamps. So 4 to 20 milliamp was a bottleneck, was a one-way communication. So we were very happy when field bus technology, especially Profibus PA, came along then in the mid-90s, because it was the possibility to make the benefits of the devices, the value in our instrumentation, actually accessible to the user. So therefore we took Profibus as one of the first suppliers in the process industry on board. Meanwhile, the whole range of devices, being level, pressure, flow, temperature, analytical devices, is equipped with Profibus. But this was just the first evolution step. In the second evolution step we brought services around our product portfolio. So beyond the pure instrumentation we provide services for network design, for network calculation, for system design, even to integrate Profibus components, Profibus devices from third-party manufacturers into the automation environment. So from a pure product supplier, Endress+Hauser assumed the role of making that technology easy to handle for the end user. So we have excessive project management, engineering capacities built around the globe, which help the customer to deal with Profibus technology. Especially on the area of predictive maintenance, that means not just to take the information from the device, but also have status information, reliability information about the measurement. This is something which we bundle in our overall offering. Meanwhile, we see that this is stretching beyond the pure field level. We see now that information which we unlock out of the devices, information which we extract from the field, we also make that available not just to the automation system, but we make it available to the business systems of our customers. To give you a small example, customers who want to run their maintenance management applications more professionally, more efficiently, now take information, pull that out of the field level and integrate it, for instance, in their computerized maintenance management system. This could be, for instance, an SAP application, SAP PM application. So the sensor communication has become a reality, sensor communication from the device level up into the ERP system, not just for the sake of communication, but for the sake of optimizing the customer business processes. I gave maintenance management as one example. There are other examples such as inventory management. So that means for material management purposes, SAP systems, ERP systems in general, today have the possibility to drill down in the architecture and extract that information by means of Profibus communication. So again, we see from the initial form where it was about replacement of a parallel wiring 4 to 20 into a bus architecture, Profibus has developed into an enabler to run the business processes, entire companies more efficiently. And therefore, we feel there is still a long future for Profibus ahead of us.